ไม่เป็นไรเข้ามาเลยซูมตัดนะครับแป๊บหนึ่งก็สนุกดีนะซูมตัดตัดนะฮะตัดตลอดเวลาให้เราไม่หลับใช่ไหมครับทุกคนกินข้าวหรือยัง
ยังเลยค่ะ
ตอนเช้า
ยังไม่กิน
ไม่ควรกินนะว่าตื่นก็คือ8:30แล้วเพราะฉะนั้นถามหาข้าวเที่ยงเลยครับอะไรอย่างเงี้ยเนาะ ชีวิตเราดีแต่ว่าไม่แน่ใจว่าเดือนหน้าต้องเจอละเจอก็ดีครับจะได้เจอตัวจริงนะว่าเป็นยังไงบ้างโอเคไหม
ค่ะ
สักครู่นะครับโอเค good all right so for this question right yeah this question asks you to compare between the two times right present and past time and then two different group of a grandparent and now our generation let's say like that okay and for this question what you need to do is that you have to think about in the present time what the trend would be and in the past time what the trend it was okay so in order to come up with a good answer you need to explain for more it would be possible right talk more and more okay right another rather irregular trend which we notice in these days in naming the babies in my country is that some people add nicknames with their former or official name okay formal and official names so sometimes like we got full names right which is formal name but we got informal name which is our nicknames so okay it's reflect the way that we can come up with that for Thai culture we depend on nicknames instead of full names so we have to call everybody by using nickname instead of it so this is a reflect the way that we choose name and we talk about different culture and different setting. Next question number 9. Is there any volunteer here?
Can I?
Yep. So you are Yosita. Okay, great.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, go.
No, I don't really think that meaningful names should get any priority over modern names with less significant meaning primarily because it's not the names, meaningful or not, which define a person, but it is the action, behavior, and achievements which define a person. Besides, since they are not tangible, worldly benefit, except some benefit on the religious ground of choosing meaningful names over less significant names. I don't really see any reason to fret over choosing the baby names meaningful or otherwise.
Okay, thank you so much นะครับจริงๆที่ให้อ่านเนี่ยเพราะว่ามันวักยากมันอ่านยากแหละเอาง่ายๆ Okay great question number 9 should meaningful baby names get priority over modern names with less significant meanings why or why not so in order to come up with this answer should meaningful baby names so we have to understand meaningful baby name in different country might have a different meaningful names as well, right? So just talk about our culture, our Thai context, right? You know, in past time and in modern time, is that going to be less significant, meaningful or not? So this is the first key that we can, explore for more detail about that. And you need to come up with the reason why. If you think about that is true, you have to say the reason why to support your idea. But if you disagree or contradict with that meaning, so it means that you have to give a reason why as well. So it's quite important to explain the reasons here. So let's say the sample version here, okay, would be, no, I don't really think that meaningful names should get any priority over modern names with less significant meaning primarily because it's not the name, meaningful or not, which define a person, but it is the action, behavior, or achievement which define a person. Okay, so when it comes to talk any particular topic, right? So this is the detailed discussion, which is really important and hard. Okay, it might be challenging if you're not, you need not to, separate the idea properly. So here, I'm going to give you like the first sentence. If you disagree with that, you should say, no, I don't think so, or no, I don't really think that much. Okay, and sometimes I give a reason why. Basically, the reason why that you need to, support your idea, you should use because or because of, due to the fact that. Okay, the reason why is that, things like that. And then if your statement is quite, like you quite opposite with that, so you need to use transition or connector cohesion devices here, but it is not like that, things like that. Okay, if you want to add for more idea, you should use besides. Okay, besides or moreover here. All right, since there are no tangible earthly benefit except some benefits on the religious ground for choosing meaningful names over less significant names, I don't really see any reason to fret over choosing the baby names, meaningful or otherwise. Okay, so here it might be really difficult because we need to come up with the best vocabulary. It's not the best vocabulary, variety of vocabulary. For example, like no tangible. Tangible means cover, right? Or completely, okay, things like that, tangible, okay? So in terms of vocabulary, so you need to come up with why variety of vocabulary, so you can use lots of vocabulary in order to speak fluent, okay? Next, is there any volunteer?
Can I?
Yep, Sattapon, right? Sattapon.
Sattapon ค่ะอาจารย์
Okay, Sattapon, right? Okay, Sattapon, good. 1, 2, 3, go.
I believe that baby names should be meaningful as they will all often be asked what is meaning of their name by several people on several occasions in their life. If the meaning of someone's name is nice, he or she will feel good to tell the meaning of their name and appreciate their parents' effort. That's a good name.
Okay, great. Thank you. So for this slide, it's continued from the previous question. I think this one, right? Should meaningful baby names, okay? So to extend for more information about the answer, I'm going to say that you need to look at for this slide and try to understand what the slide tells you. Just because when it comes to speaking, you need to speak a lot. It's not just only like, okay, just speaking, I just want to speak and that's it. No, speak well or good speaking, it means that you need to control your grammar, your vocabulary, and the way you speak. So, okay, so here it's all about like, the content that we can improve our speaking to be better, right? I do believe that baby names should be meaningful, right? And they will often be asked what the meaning of that name by several people on several occasions in their life. Okay, great. If the meaning of someone's name is nice, or he or she will feel good to tell the meaning of that name and appreciate their like a parent's or effort for choosing such a good name. So the name is quite controversial or it's quite debatable. Okay, like For example, like I would tell a story, right? Okay, for Thai people, we have name that ending with porn, P-O-R-N. So, okay, porn in Thai means blessing, right? Things like that. But when it comes to in the Western country, P-R-O-N is quite that is a bad meaning, is that right? And you need to change P-O-R-N into P-O-N just because when it comes to a different setting or culture, all right, in a Western country, they might feel like this is embarrassing when they call out for that name. So this is funny story that I'm gonna tell you. Where because I've been in, like in America for 5 years, right? And then yeah, so some people for Thai people, yeah, have come up with that name, so it might be confusing for them. Yep, right. But this is not really that hard for my, for our setting, just because we normally use that name, just because it's all about blessing. Okay. And next volunteer.
Me, please.
Okay, good. So you are Petrapa, right? Okay, good. 1, 2, 3, go.
No, I don't really think that our names tell a lot about us, if any at all. Of course, with names which just sound good, we can get some prize like nice names or unique names from people around us once in a while. But that doesn't really reveal anything about the personality or character of them. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that we should intentionally choose bad names or weird sounding names just for the sake of it. But again, our names don't tell a lot about we really are.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Good. So for this question, right? Question 10. Do you think our names tell lots about it? Okay, great. The keyword here is tell something about that name, okay? Or the implication of that name in a positive or a negative way. But normally we can say that it's all about positive things, okay? No, I don't really think that our names tell a lot about us. Good. So if any at all, right, of course, with names which is sound good, we can get some prizes like nice names or unique name, right? So here, in a modern trend, we can come up with the nickname with 2 words. For example, like me, Dodo, right? Or some people like Byron, Jason, or Maprang, things like that. Okay, so nice name and unique names is quite different in any kinds of custom and culture. Okay, so we're gonna focus on Thai culture here, right? And so you can see like the word or the transition word here is a lot. No, I don't really think. If you disagree with that, okay, of course, if you want to emphasize that word once in a while, it means that you can talk a past story that happened in just only one time, okay? And yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean, or it doesn't mean that you can say like that, okay? Right, so for this slide, it's all about like, why do we come up with that name and what is the implication of that name, okay? Next one. Any volunteer here? 40 คนแล้วนะครับตอนนี้
Me, please.
Okay, you are Gachama, ถูกไหม right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
Yes, definitely. Our name express a lot about ourselves simply because our names most of the time tell about our family, religion, culture, country, or origin, and so on. Just by knowing someone's name, we can create a persona about the person in our mind, and we introduce ourselves to someone else with our name first.
Okay, thank you so much. Good. So for this slide, it's continue from the previous slides, okay? Yes, definitely our name express a lot about ourselves simply because our names most of the time tell about our family, religion, culture, country of origin, and so on. So here, the reason why that we can come up with the name in different ways, okay? So it's reflect the way you are, the family members, or a religion that you process, right? Just by knowing someone's names, we can create a personal about the person and in our mind, and we introduce ourselves to someone else with our name first, okay? Name is very important because if you don't know my name, so we can't know each other, right? We can come up with the first name first, so it is very important to call out to everybody. Okay, next one volunteer นะ volunteer เรื่อยๆเดี๋ยวเราจะเริ่มทำspeaking session ละ So any volunteer here?
May I?
Okay, Nisha Pat, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah. I don't think that having similar names has any significant benefits, other than they are easy to remember and can be pronounced easily, as well as emphasizing the fact that they belong together in the same family. However, even though it has these tiny little benefits, it has some significant disadvantage as well, for it will confuse other people other than their families and relatives in identifying the siblings properly. Besides, it may even pose a greater problem in important documentation, as the same initials can be used to refer them in important documents.
Okay, good. Right, so this is a detailed discussion that you have to prepare for that. So the question asks you, why do many siblings have similar names? The kind of the way that we have to talk about the culture, or even the possibility that the families believe that the way that they want to process their names would be the advantage. Okay, so are there any benefits to it? So you need to explore some benefits of it. Anyway, you can talk about the pros and cons. Okay, it would be better. Yeah, I don't think that having similar names have any significant benefit other than they are easy to remember and can be pronounced easily, as well as emphasizing the fact that they belong together in the same family. For example, like some families start with P, right? Just P, ploy, pawn, pong, what this can be. That's it. And then, however, even though it has it has this tiny little benefit, it has some significant disadvantages as well. For example, it will confuse, for example, maybe this is typing wrong, okay? It will confuse other people other than their families and relatives in identifying the sibling properly. So for example, like some siblings or some brothers and sisters have the same name, okay? The same, the same meaning of the name. So sometimes it might confuse someone to call out that names, okay? Besides, it may even pose a greater problem in important documentation, as the initial can be used to refer them in important documents. So the way that we have to proceed any operation with documents, it's likely to be difficult if you change your name or if the name have the same similarities, okay? Right, great. Next one.
Me.
You are สารินถูกไหมครับ
ค่ะ
สารินตอนแรกเข้าใจว่าชื่อสารินนี้เป็นชื่อผู้ชายไม่ใช่ใช่ไหมครับ
ส่วนมากก็เป็นผู้ชายค่ะ
Okay. Okay, good. 1 to trigger.
I believe parents often choose similar names for their children simply because they love the harmonious sound of the kids' names. It also reflects that those children belong to the same family, which have some advantages. First, people can easily identify them and remember their names. Second, similar names are easy to pick and emphasize that they belong together. They are a set and they are part of the same family.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Okay, so I do believe parents often choose similar names for their children simply because they love the harmonious sounds of their kids. This is the very important keyword, harmonious sounds in their kid, right? Harmonious is adjective. It means harmony or get together. So when you want to do something harmony or something get together, you need to say harmonious, okay, collaboration or harmonious communications, okay? It also reflects that those children belong to the same family, which have some advantages. First, people can easily identify them and remember their names. Second, similar names are easy to pick and emphasize that they are belong together. They are all set, all right? And they are a part of the same family. So here, if you want to explore for more advantage or disadvantage, right? I would suggest that you can come up with, like a first, second, lastly, finally, right? The reason number 1, you can start with first, and then second or next, things like that. So this is the way that you can flow your sentences together and your speaking would be fluent for sure. Okay, this is the last slide for today. Is there any volunteer? Con สุดท้ายแล้วนะครับ Tanjabun, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. 1, 2, 3, go.
Yes, I think that our names are special to us primarily because they don't just identify us, but they also separate us from the rest of the crowds, sometimes with respect to our regions, and culture. Besides, a long of history and memory are involved with our names. From the time we are born in this world, our names are very special to us also because they represent the activities we undertake and transactions we make on a daily basis. In fact, I would even dare say that they effectively describe us in a manner more than we are able to understand or choose to realize.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. All right. So the last question for today is all about, do you think our names are very special to us? Why or why not? Okay. So let's say the 7th question here would be, yes, I think that our names are special to us primarily because they don't just identify us, but they also separate us from the rest of the crowds. So it means that if you have the same name, right, with others people, so the way that we can call your name reflect that your identity you are, right? And some people might have like the same name, but this is the reason that we can separate our name to be different. Okay, so sometimes with respect to our religions, regions, and culture. Okay, religions mean religious, right? Region, the area. Okay, like Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia is just quite different culture. Okay, that's it. And besides, lots of history and memories, right, are involved with our names from the time we are born, or we were born, okay, in this world. Right, our names are very special to us, and also because it represents the activity that undertake and transaction we make on daily basis. Okay, great. So here, the reason why that you can come up with, you might think about the situation that this happened in the everyday lives. Okay, right. So in order to make sure that you can explain for more, it would be great. In fact, I would even dare say that they effectively describe us in a manner more than we are able to understand or choose to realize for that name. Okay, that's it. It's all about name here. เป็นยังไงบ้างนะครับวันนี้ดูเงียบๆนะฮะแต่จริงๆ attendee เยอะอยู่นะ40 คนสักครู่นะครับเดี๋ยวเราจะเริ่มทำ participation ละinterview นี้ขอ skip ไปก่อนแล้วกันนะฮะเดี๋ยวอาจารย์จะเลือกให้ทำเป็น pair verb โอเคป่ะทีนี้นะครับเดี๋ยวให้เราส่งชื่อ pair verb มาใน chat box ก่อนแล้วกันนะครับลองหาเพื่อนสักคนหนึ่งแล้วก็พิมพ์ชื่อมาว่าสมมุติ A คู่ B C คู่ D ก็พิมพ์ชื่อเข้ามานะครับโอเคไหมฮะทำ pair work บ้างเพราะ interview ทำกันมาเยอะละสำหรับ midterm เนี่ยจะให้ทำเป็น role plays นะครับทุกคนเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ย role plays ก็คือเดี๋ยวจะส่ง topic ให้ใน line นะดังนั้นน่าจะได้ประมาณ5 กลุ่มครับต้องการ5 กลุ่มทั้งหมดเพราะฉะนั้น participant ของเรามีประมาณเกือบ40 คนนะครับให้นิสิตนักศึกษาทุกคนเนี่ยก็ไปจับกลุ่มเอานะไปจับกลุ่มเอาก็คือให้ได้5 กลุ่มเพราะฉะนั้นกลุ่มละประมาณ 7-8 คนไม่เกินนี้นะครับเสร็จทีนี้เนี่ยเดี๋ยว topic เนี่ยจะส่งให้ไปใน line นะครับเป็นการทำ role play นะสำหรับ midterm ซึ่ง 30% นะครับเดี๋ยวจะบอก criteria อีกทีหนึ่งนะครับว่ามีอะไรบ้างมีในส่วน speaking มี script ต้องเขียน script ส่งด้วยนะครับแล้วก็มี collaboration หรือว่าการทำเราต้องมานั่งอัดวิดีโอแล้วก็ส่งมาให้อาจารย์นะครับคือคะแนน midterm ไม่แน่ใจว่าคงไม่ได้สอบวิชานี้มันเป็น oral speaking นะฮะต้องเล่นเยอะๆนั่นเองนะหรือว่ามีใครอยากจะสอบแบบ paper MCQ อะไรอย่างงี้ไหมมันก็ไม่เกี่ยวกับ speaking เนาะ speaking มันต้อง speak ประมาณนี้นะครับทีนี้มีคนส่งมาแล้วนะครับให้เราจับคู่นะครับแล้วก็ส่งชื่อมาใน chat box ครับผมมีคนส่งอันนี้จับคู่มาแล้วใช่ไหมใครจับคู่บ้างพิชามนกับภัสกรหรือเปล่าอันนี้คือคู่แรกหรือเปล่าไม่ใช่เนาะคู่ที่มาก็คือปัพิชยานะครับวรลีสแตนบายไว้เลยนะครับแล้วก็มีคู่ที่2คือพิชามนกับสัตพรถูกไหมแล้วก็ next one นะครับนะครับเราต้องหากันเองก่อนนะครับเยลสิตาคู่กับใครครับกมลชยานะครับจับคู่ก่อนครับเราทำ activity วันนี้เป็น pair work นะครับเพราะอาจารย์สัมภาษณ์แล้วรู้สึกว่าเหนื่อยก็เลยแบบให้นิสิตนักศึกษาเล่นกันเองแล้วกันนะฮะจะได้ง่าย แต่ต้องพยายามพูดให้มากที่สุดนะครับบอกอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับ activity เนี่ยเป็นการ practice speaking นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเราจำเป็นที่จะต้องพูดให้มากที่สุดนะครับคู่ถัดไปก็จะเป็นใครดีมีหลายคู่มาแล้วนะครับนัทการคู่กับอภิสรานัทนรีกับปนัดดานะครับสิทธิชัยกับนัทสุดาไปคุยกันเองนะครับแล้วก็จับคู่มานะกวินธิดาธัญพรเราจะเริ่มรันจากคนที่ส่งชื่อมาในแชทบ็อกซ์นะครับโอเค นะครับธัญลักษณ์คู่กับฉัตรมงคลเราจำคู่ตัวเองดีๆนะฮะธัญพรมนฤดีแล้วก็สิการคู่กับชดาพรกี่คู่แล้วเนี่ยหลายคู่อยู่ประมาณนี้นะครับเดี๋ยวขอแคปชื่อก่อนนะครับเป็นหลักฐานทำอะไรต้องมีหลักฐานน่ากลัวมากเลยอ่ะ ประมาณนี้นะครับถ้าไม่มีคู่หาคู่เลยดวงพรคู่กับสารินนะครับวรมนsorry วรมนถูกไหมคู่กับภัสกรโอเค great her activities โอเคทีนี้นะครับน่าจะชดาการคู่กับเพชรราภานะครับดีมากๆส่งชื่อเข้ามาเลยนะครับกี่คู่แล้วไม่ทราบนะฮะขอเช็คก่อนนะครับว่ามีกี่คู่นะครับเราจำชื่อตัวเองก่อนนะครับเราจะเริ่มจากคู่ไหนก่อนดีคู่แรกเลยแล้วกันปพิชยากับวราลีหรือเปล่านะครับที่เดี๋ยวนะพิชามนกับภัสกรหรือเปล่าเดี๋ยวนะไม่ใช่ใครเป็นคนพิมพ์ชื่อเดี๋ยวนะแป๊บหนึ่งปพิชยากับวราลีถูกไหมครับโอเคเป็นคู่แรกนะครับพร้อมยัง
อาจารย์คะคือมันต้องสลับกันถามหรือว่าต้องถามกันเองทุกข้ออะคะ
ต้องถามกันเองทุกข้อเพราะมันเป็นแบบturn taking หมายความว่าอย่างเช่นสมมุติหนูถามไปว่า what names do you really dislike นะครับอีกคนหนึ่งตอบปุ๊บเขาก็ต้องถามต่อ what about you หรือว่าอ่านคำถามไปก็ได้ครับก็คือต้องถามคำถามให้ครบ5ทุกคนจะต้องถามสลับกันสลับไปเก็ตไหมโอเคนะright พร้อมหรือยังครับพิชยากับวราลีถูกไหมใช่ไหม
ใช่ค่ะ
โอเค one two three go
ฉันเริ่มก่อนนะดิมี่
โอเค
What names do you really dislike
I don't have the name I really dislike now because I think every name has their mean and they're good.
Okay ทำกลับมาสิ
Oh, okay. Are boys' name better than girls' names, or is it the other way round?
For me it's not boys name and girls name also have their meanings inside and it's good to use for each other งง okay what are good names to give to pets
I have no idea to give name to pets because my parents give name to them and they name kati, katha, like the thing or food or vegetable. Yes, and the situation. For example, I have one dog. She is come to my home with bot of eye, and then my mother named she is 10 like because she come to เหมือนกับว่าแทนกับหมาตัวก่อนว่า yes like that
okay
okay can you guess the social status of someone in your country from his or her name
social status like boys or girls right
maybe หรือเปล่าเป็นใครอะไรอย่างนี้หรือเปล่า
หรือว่าเป็นใครif I can guess boy or girl from her name or his name I think yes I can guess it but if it's a single or taken it's not จบแล้ว
The last you asked me
Okay, what do you think of old people's names?
Old people's name I think old people name have short name and the meaning in their name for example and they nickname and full name is the same like น้อยบุญมีบุญมา like this and the meaning is in their name ต้องถามกลับไหม
ถามกับข้อแรก
okay what name do you really dislike
I don't have the name that I really dislike. I think every name has their own meanings and the parents choose their name มาแล้วอ่ะ
โอเค
it's a good meaning it's good name
mm-hmm.
Are boys' names better than girls' names or is it the other way round?
I think we have not different name no one is better boy have the meaning in boy and girls have meaning in girl and in Thai culture the meaning of name will be excellent good and boy and girl is good like this what are good names to give to pets your cat
Oh my cat I give my sister give names to them like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 because it's easy to call and pets can remember their names easily like when I call them 1
and you can remember them on
yes it's easy to remember for owner and pets can remember their names too right okay next can you guess the social status of someone in your country from his or her name
I can't guess the social status from their name I just guess what are they men or women and but I can't guess the social status like teacher police or anybody else yes and the last what do you think of all people's names
all people's names has its own meanings in their generation maybe nói okay your name is nói and in their age in their in that year maybe it's a very popular name but in this generation it's like nói it's a short name and it's up to the generation that we live
yeah
yes จบแล้วค่ะ
finish
โอเคดีมากๆเลยสนุกไหมครับ
เหมือนคุยกันเองมากกว่า
ไม่เป็นไรนะครับเดี๋ยว
โอเคค่ะ
Okay thank you so much Okay next pair ใครเป็นคู่ถัดไปนะครับเดี๋ยวขอเช็คก่อนพิชามนกับสัตพรใช่ไหมฮะ
ค่ะ
โอเคโทษที spelling ชื่อผิดนะครับพร้อมแล้วยัง
พร้อม
ยัง2คนนี้
ได้
เข้าใจใช่ไหมครับก็คือถามสลับกันไปแล้วก็ทุกคนต้อง cover ทั้ง5ข้อหมดเลยแต่หนูก็จะแบบสลับกันไปสลับกันมาโอเคนะครับ1 2 3 go
What name do you really dislike?
I don't have a name that I dislike because I think every name has their stories. Okay. Are boys' names better than girls' names or is it the other way around?
I think no one is better than other because I think everyone has their own meaning in their name. What are good names to give to pets?
I think for me, good names to name the pets is the names that relate to them. Like